Walaikum warahmatullah. So if you've seen my hotbed video, making my hotbed to keep this greenhouse warm, I've also taken measures to try and insulate the greenhouse and fill up all the gaps. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll do. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start planting into my hotbed and try and keep growing over winter. At the moment, the temperature's recording that it's about 12 degrees, and the high in here is about 12 degrees, and the low last night was about 9.5 degrees. So the hotbed's obviously doing something right, because it's keeping this greenhouse a bit more. It's generating some heat inside this greenhouse. Now let's have a look actually at how much heat this hotbed's actually generating. So I've got my compost thermometer. Let's stick that in. Let's see how much that moves. So it's warm, just over 30 degrees. I think that's going to move a little bit more. That makes sense because there's about 4 inches of soil at the top of this, and then the compost pile is underneath that. So the soil itself doesn't feel cold. It is much warmer than the soil on the floor of the greenhouse, and definitely much warmer than the soil outside. So I think this temperature of this soil is ideal to grow in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to plant into this compost because it has dropped about 6 inches in height. I'm going to top it off with some more of my ready-made compost. I'm not going to add much. I'm just going to add about about an inch to the top of this. I'm going to fill up all these gaps with all the soil that's already in here. So this is some of the my finished compost that I've got in my in my compost pile that's maturing. I'm saving this for next winter next spring when I start planting. And this is what the compost looks like. There's some fallen leaves that have fallen over, fallen in. But that's not bad at all, I don't think. Anything big and lumpy I'm just going to shift out because that leaf can be buried. Because I don't want it interfering. If it was outside I would have left it in, but inside here this is a bit more controlled. I want to give the plants the best growing conditions possible, because we're growing in winter, there's not much light, the plants are going to struggle anyway, and we're giving it that artificial heat from the compost pile. So there we go. Now that bag is completely full and it's ready to plant into. Just had a thought that if I was doing this again, what I should have done was I should have nailed this bag to the sides all along here and let it fill in from the drop into place, rather than try and drop it into place and then pull it up. That would have been an easier method, I think. And then I wouldn't have had these gaping gaps in the side that now are causing a problem. So that's one design flaw in this. But now I've got this hotbed. Look at the worms that are absolutely beautiful. So this is going to be beautiful for not just for the hotbed itself, but those worms are going to have babies. They're going to move into the rest of the ground, and it's just going to add fertility. Now let's get planting. Come on, let's get some seeds in the ground and let's see what we can do. I'm excited. Okay, gloves are off. Now what have we got? We've got some lettuce. I don't know what kind of lettuce this is. It says Batavia lettuce. I've never grown this kind of lettuce before, but that's one. What else have we got? Onions. Red velvet, let's have some of them. Broad beans don't need to go in here. I think the ones that we're going to plant is we'll go for some... Oh, I've got these romaine tricolour. Should we go for them? I'm just sprinkling, just like you'd sprinkle salt and pepper on your chips. You know me, I love a good food analogy. Should we get some more lettuce in? Which one? Little Gem or this red velvet? This one? Okay. I think we'll draw one more line these little gem ones. Now, if the soil temperature in the rest of the greenhouse does keep warm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sticking some lettuce on the ground as well. I think it might be warm enough actually to grow some lettuce onto there. Oh, these are interesting. These are black lettuce seeds. I've not seen them before. What I'm going to use this side for is I'm going to use it like a heated propagator. So I'm going to start my onions off here as well. So that's my divider. Everything that side of the stick is where my lettuce has been planted. And I'll just rough up the soil and get these seeds hidden. Now I'm going to use this rest of this bed like a heated propagator. So I'm going to just get some trays of soil and I'm going to start planting my onions here. So I'm just going to fill these old fruit punnets up with some compost. And this is what these fruit punnets I used last year as well for growing in. So I'm just going to use that, fill them up. Just about enough. So let's get these planted up first of all. And I'm going to do 4 different types of onions today. So the onions that I'm planting today, this one's called Onion Exhibition. And I'm just going to broadcast them into this pot. I bought these last winter, and these are the ones that so they're about a year old. Now onion seeds don't last very long, so I am going for a bit heavier sowing than otherwise I would. And what I'll do with these is, once they pop up, I'll start thinning them out. And these are called Onion Exhibition, but last year they didn't put on much of a show for me. So we'll see what they turn out this year. There's another one called Ailsa Craig, but this one's called Prize Winner. Again, it wasn't much of a prize winner for me last year, so we'll see what these turn out as. And I'm just going to broadcast them in. Another one, this is called Ridgensenberger or something like that. Ridgensenberger. So, Ridgensenberger. Someone tell me how to pronounce that. Yeah, someone do a video just on how to pronounce onion Ridgensenberger or whatever it's called. Or Rinsberger, or however you want to pronounce it. And this one's Onion Bedfordshire Champion. I know the tradition is to plant onions on Boxing Day, but what I'm going to do now is, if I can get these started now, then I'll pot these on and I'll separate them and I'll pot them on and do all that sort of business. And then in December I'll plant another set, and then in January I'll plant another set similar to this sort of size, and that way I'll have successional sowing throughout the year, and hopefully that'll stagger my harvests, because we do use a lot of onions. I mean, we can go through probably 10 kilos of onions a week just in our cooking style. So onions are a big part of our cooking and our diet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pots. So that's my Onion Exhibition in that corner. And I'm going to bury them into the ground so it gives it that insulation. And the heat from the compost coming up will keep it warm. There's my Ridgensenberger or whatever it's called. So someone tell me what that is. And you can stop hearing me completely murdering the word. Here's my Ailsa Craig prize winners, but I don't know if there'll be prize winners for me. Get that soiling down the side. And there's my Bedfordshire Champion. I'm just sticking odds and sods in here, whatever seeds that I've got spare before I start ordering some. I've got some kohlrabi. So kohlrabi, we also refer to this as shalgum. So I'm gonna just sow these in drills. And then once they grow a little bit, I'll transplant them. So this whole bed's going to act like a heated propagator for me. And I hope this works, because let's do the whole bed. Come next year, it'll still be warm. Okay, that's okay. So we've got a few kohlrabi in there. Hopefully this pile should have enough heat in here to give me about 3-4 months worth of heated propagation, and then after that it'll just serve as a growing bed. Same with the other bed. Because of the size of that, I'm expecting it to be last a little bit shorter in terms of how much heat it gives. If it works, then I might, where these bean plants are, I might stick another one. But the problem is, if I'm waiting another month before I make another bed, then what I don't want to end up doing is filling it with heating compost piles that's going to overheat the greenhouse in the summer. So I don't want to get myself into other problems that way. So right now I'm just going to use this one compost pile, see how it goes, and then if it's working, then I'll move forward. You know, if it's working, then I'll decide on what I want to do. So let me know your thoughts. If you've got any feedback for me, any sort of advice, let me know your thoughts about it. If you like what you've seen, do me a favour, hit the like, hit the subscribe, make sure you ring that bell so you get my notifications, and leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I'm going to leave it there. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.